People seem to think you have to be serious in life to get anywhere. It couldn't be further from the truth. I actually nearly fell for it again recently. But that's been a sneaky little thought that's lurked in my being for most of my existence on this planet. I remember as a teen, I'd often run into adults and they'd be talking to me, and then sort of mid-conversation they'd say, yeah, you're looking pretty serious about that. It seemed like my eyebrows had their own idea of life, and they would sort of go into this furrow mode. They'd tell me, I don't know, but I never felt serious, but apparently I looked like I was being serious at the time when they're talking to me. And I think perhaps that's because I really wanted to focus on what they were saying. On reflection though, I know why. I had a pretty serious life, or I had reason to feel serious, because life for me at points was pretty terrifying. But I thought I was clever. I could control it. I strive for this outward perfection where, I'd act as if I had everything under control and tried to keep everything perfect, in the idea that it would somehow deflect the eyes of others so they wouldn't know what was really going on underneath. So why did I do that? Why did I try to control everything to make it look perfect? Love, of course. I'll say this over and over again. We do things because we think we'll feel better in the doing of it. Or in other words, we're moving toward love. That's the reason for anything we do. So for me, the idea of being perfect meant that I would get the love I was seeking. But of course, when you're a teenager, you don't think about things like that. In fact, even as a grown-up, many people don't know that. And probably that's why I'm here to talk about it. So back then, not being particularly popular as a teen, the adage red hair, no friends was a big thing back then. I worked hard to secure my spot, my social ranking in school by looking intelligent. I sat up the front of the class, I studied really hard, I was the good girl in school, I got straight A's on all my exams, I was goody two-shoes, I was good. Until year 12, when I failed an essay for the first time ever. I know you feel my horror, right? As a straight A student, that was my identity, which dissolved in the red ink that was at the bottom of this essay, which said, I think it was a score of 8 out of 20. And the teacher wrote in big red letters, self-conscious and contrived. Well, I had no idea at 16 years of age. I was young for the year level in school. Self-conscious and contrived were words I'd never heard of really before. I mean, yeah, self-conscious, I'm self-conscious, fine. But what did that mean when it came to an essay? What did any of that mean? So now I felt doubly stupid because I didn't even know what she meant. So exposed for the fraud I was, my shiny, very valuable super brain label was ripped off. And now I found myself feeling like the dunce and retreated to the corner of shame in my life. It was from that point on I actually slipped into a depression and I nearly failed year 12. For a very long time, I felt like I was no one to anyone, and I acted out in behaviours that reinforced that belief. But that's for another story. Fortunately, those beastly words, self-conscious and contrived, they plagued me for decades. And what I learned was those words in the essay I wrote were, I thought I was being edgy and cool, but I was not edgy or cool. I was the exact opposite of that. So it was inauthentic. Effectively, I was writing inauthentic words. I was trying so hard to please them, to be someone else, someone I wasn't. And there it was, in big red letters, self-conscious and contrived. That's what it meant, inauthentic. But of course, back in 1983, they weren't teaching authenticity in school. That's a bit of a shame, really. I don't think people know really what authenticity is today either. That's why I'm doing this video. I want to talk a little bit about that. The truth was, I had no idea who I even was at the time. Not many of us do. So of course, fast forward about 15 years and I went through law school I felt valued again for a moment. I felt that, oh, look, here I am, I'm smart again. But that too, that idea, I went in to feel valued, so I could please them, be something to someone. Yeah, look, I am smart, look at me, yay. And that was great for a while. And law was a very serious endeavour indeed. I strived hard. I worked really hard to get that label of intelligence pasted back on me. But it felt off. It wasn't me. Yeah, look, I'm reasonably intelligent, but the older I get, the more I know I don't know. And so it was like this false sense of authenticity. So I left law, then for the very same reason, to find my sense of worth. But this is a different sense of worth, the worth of who I really am worth, the authentic self, the authentic me that has the value. And with this, a better feeling washed over me. It's not so serious. I had no idea that authenticity had no sense of seriousness about it. It's actually fun and playful. So I'll say it again, words don't teach that well. Experience does. So let's have a little experience together. Imagine you're working toward achieving that thing you've always wanted. To me, it was recognition for my cleverness. I've tried it a couple of times in life. Feel what that feels like to strive toward that thing that you want. Now imagine what it's like to be there. You now have that thing that you've been searching for. What does that feel like to you? The first example, the searching, the striving for, has a sense of tension about it, doesn't it? You need to get somewhere. You're not going to feel happy until you do. You're not going to feel satisfied until you do. The second one has a sense of satisfaction about it. You've arrived. I can rest now. I'm here. Tension or satisfaction. They're two very different states of being which bring different experiences to your life. Notice how you could evoke either feeling at will. Feel them again. The feeling of striving. I have to go somewhere. I have to be somewhere. I'm not there yet. To I've arrived. Tension versus satisfaction. Now this is the bit that's going to mess with your head, which is good because it's actually your heart talking. One of those experiences is more authentically you than the other one. Now I'll leave that one for you to figure out. Feel into it. Now that you've found your hidden superpower, your power of choice over how you feel, you can now decide how long you want to spend in a particular feeling state. After spending a life of serious endeavours, I made a decision. It was that simple. Align with who I am. Now, seriousness has a very minor role to play in my life. Seriously. I just do want to mention that it can edge its way back into your life slowly without you even noticing, unless you're aware of the feeling. I noticed the other day when I was writing, and I'm on a writer's platform called Substack, and I noticed that everyone was saying, you need more followers. I mean, I think people know this over social media, the whole situation of likes and that external validation. I noticed I was falling for it because I'm in a new area of being. Once I was in law, I was qualified as a lawyer, I knew what I was doing. Now I've stepped into the creative realm of writing and artwork and things like that, where I'm really a noob. And whilst I was listening to people, which is a great idea to do, listen to, what people can teach you when you're in a new space, don't fall for things that are inauthentic. I was starting to do it. Yeah, I need recognition. I need more followers. What I need to do is be me. And me is a voice, an authentic voice that doesn't need to be validated. It's a voice that's just speaking her truth. And sometimes it's ineloquent as well. I'm speaking to you now. I don't have the grace and flow of beautiful words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm just speaking from my heart to you. Now, whether that's attractive to some people or not, it really doesn't matter a great deal to me. By getting what I need to speak to out, by evolving ideas that I have, I'm not regurgitating old things or worried about what others are going to think about me. I am simply speaking, like this idea about being serious or not is, is something I've learned and I feel I can share with you as well. But I nearly fell into the trap again of listening to them for my validation, for my love. And that started to feel serious, like, oh, what should I do next? I better do this, I better do that. If I don't do this, then that will happen. No, that's very linear thinking, and I'm not that way anymore, not in the creative space. How I noticed myself getting here was I was noticing some people in the space. I was going to little seminars, and I'm watching them speak, and they seem stressed, they seem vacuous even. There was this vacant expression of they were sort of 10 steps ahead of themselves, thinking about how they're going to sell me something else. And even watching some of them over time, I've noticed they're inconsistent with how they're approaching things. And I thought, oh, this just doesn't feel authentic. And it feels very serious indeed. I'm going to get it wrong if I don't follow their advice. Well, there it is. So at least I'll be bringing a new form of expression into the world. It's my authentic expression, and it looks however it comes out. So basically, life is a series of moments. It's a string of moments. Do I want that string to be strung with beads of seriousness or satisfaction? There is so much satisfaction in authenticity. So I think I'm going with the latter. It could look messy, but it is what it is. I just want to finish with, I've used this quote before and I love it. Virginia Woolf, she reminds me that there is no need to hurry, no need to sparkle, no need to be anyone but oneself. And this oneself at the moment is a self of, I know myself reasonably well and I want to have fun with it. That's what I want out of life. I hope you do too. I hope there was something that you could take away from that rambling. So thanks for listening.